Hello and welcome to Reroll. My name is Angus Morrison, and if this video doesn't get flagged as inappropriate, I will be stunned. I'm already sure that my request for review codes was scooped up by email filters, because really there are only so many times you can write Dominatrix before you start sounding like a disgraced physics teacher. Saints Row 4 Enter the Dominatrix has been a long time coming. Originally announced as an expandalone for Saints Row the 3rd, it was later shelved and due to be merged with the base Saints Row 4 release before being postponed again and eventually released as a Saints Row 4 DLC on the 23rd of October 2013. A year and a half in development. And there's bugger all to show for it. Saints Row 4 succeeded through clever humour, puerile humour, absurd humour, and by letting you do things you wouldn't expect from a video game, like a challenge to ragdoll yourself across the city, or things you wouldn't expect in the same video game, like ragdolling yourself across the city before shooting pink cats through hoops using telekinesis. It was the obscene variety of activities on offer underpinned by a knowing script that made the game so endearing. Enter the Dominatrix is best described as lazy. It has but one joke, which it's seemingly very proud of, and like a toddler discovering humour for the first time, will trot it out at every opportunity to show you how funny it is. You see, rather than sit down and write a solid piece of original comedy, Volition noticed that self-deprecating jabs at the games industry got some laughs the first time and have basically said, fuck it, let's have some more of that. The story is presented as a mockumentary, with the Saints, all of whom are now mysteriously aware that Saints Row 4 was a video game, reminiscing about the time they fought the Dominatrix AI, which they also know was a video game. This sets the stage for fourth wall breaking so thorough that by the end of the 2-hour game, the fourth wall is rubble and the second and third walls are about to cave in.
Script made no sense, like at all. Saints Row 4 was way more elegant.
Every mission is prefaced and punctuated by the cast ridiculing the staid mechanics of video game tradition. Go here, collect this, fight 12 of these, before letting you get on with going here, collecting those and fighting 12 of them. At no point do they attempt to innovate or apply humour to the gameplay. Shooting up the public and traversing the same city you've already explored takes up most of your playtime. So in this context, jibes at the industry only serve to highlight how uninspired the underlying missions in Dominatrix are. In the original, these digs were followed by a colourful riposte which saw you romp through a 2D brawler or an unexpected text adventure. The DLC points out its dull tasks and expects you to laugh. The moment that did make me chuckle was the only one to recapture the in-game mayhem of Saints Row 4, racing gimps down a horse track to the straight-faced commentary of Professor Genki's underlings, not just hearing the absurd, but being a part of it. And the devs clearly weren't short on ideas. In a misguided attempt to amuse, you're repeatedly shown motion graphics cutscenes of various awesome gameplay to have one of the cast chip in with a joke about how they didn't have the budget for it. Now get back to your fetch quests. It's really quite insulting in DLC you've shelled out £6 for to be teased all the cool ideas the devs couldn't be bothered to put in and then forced back to the grind. There is a brief, about 1 minute long segment at the game's conclusion which attempts to half-heartedly realise one of these ideas. What results is a reskinned vehicle segment which you have no control over and which leads into another 2D cutscene. It's nothing but an admission of low production values that the devs attempt to distract from by ridiculing their own creation. Please don't misunderstand, self-deprecating humour is in my DNA. I am a Brit after all, it's all we have. But it's not a substitute for a script. You can't make something crap and preempt all criticism just by going, it's meant to be crap. It's meant to be crap.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't have the budget to get it into the game.
And there are bugs. Perhaps. I can't quite tell if certain mechanics are broken or if they're intentional but mystifying changes. For one thing, you no longer have your full repertoire of superpowers. In the course of Enter the Dominatrix, I found that my ability to slam the ground from the sky had been entirely disabled. Meanwhile, PC players will find that tanks still handle like upside-down shopping trolleys, and that the health of enemy tanks, who mostly ignore your presence, is subject to unknowable laws of its own. Enter the Dominatrix is utterly underwhelming. It rides on the coattails of Saints Row 4 and takes the path of least resistance in trying to recreate its success. The developers are right on one thing though. The gaming go-to of fetching X is bad. Killing Y is bad. This DLC is bad.